This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 1696, The 3 Great Misconceptions About Retirement Saving, Part 2, by Darrow Kirkpatrick of CanIRetireYet.com. I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. Happy Halloween if you're listening in real time. Now, today's post is a continuation from yesterday, so if you're new here, I'd recommend listening to yesterday's episode first. But if you're all caught up, let's hear part 2 and continue optimizing your life. The 3 Great Misconceptions About Retirement Saving, Part 2, by Darrow Kirkpatrick of CanIRetireYet.com. What did we give up to retire early without having several million on hand? 2 things primarily: owning a large home and international travel. Yes, home ownership is very important to many people, part of their vision of the good life. Just understand that owning a plush home is an emotional need and often an expensive one at that. Likewise, international travel is a prominent image in retirement scenarios. White-clad seniors frolicking on exotic beaches. For me at least, this too is an emotional or symbolic need. I'll get a lifetime of enjoyment playing in our western mountains, mostly within a day's drive of our home in Santa Fe. If you're willing to search carefully and visit when the crowds are gone, you can find an exotic beach in the US. Even international travel is on the table if you're willing to cut in other areas. In the end, by capping those 2 potentially huge expenses, travel and housing, we can indulge in what we think is a luxurious retirement lifestyle. Whether it be food, clothing, electronics, gear, or domestic travel we have spent freely without damaging our savings. We haven't missed out on much by foregoing a big house or overseas travel. An essential ingredient for a happy life is to be in touch with your own needs and wants, separate from what Madison Avenue or your neighbors are doing. To maximize your freedom, live modestly within your means, and that doesn't mean doing without. Craft your own personally rewarding retirement lifestyle. Don't be hostage to somebody else's vision of the good life. If you look into your heart, chances are that only a few things are really important to you. Optimize your retired life for those and cut spending on the rest. Misconception number 3. Your financial advisor can give you an exact answer. The final and largest misconception of all about retirement planning is a mistake that is easy to make and perfectly understandable for those who haven't studied the problem in depth. This is the belief that there's a precise answer to the retirement equation, or that you can go to an advisor with your numbers, they can plug those numbers into a formula calculated by the computer and give you a yes or no answer about whether you can retire or not. This is pure bunk. Why? Because even if we had a single equation that could represent your entire retirement picture, debatable, the inputs to that equation are not known reliably in advance. Let's take just 3 simple examples of retirement uncertainty: the growth rate on your investments, the general inflation rate in the economy, and your personal life expectancy. Not one of those variables is known with much certainty even 1 year out, much less 5 years out, 10 years out, 20 or 30 years out. And without those variables, you cannot reliably compute how your retirement nest egg will perform or survive in the years ahead. Advisors take advantage of their cleverness and technical knowledge to peddle a certainty that is rarely justified. Buyer beware. At the very best, a knowledgeable advisor can help you choose sensible ranges for those retirement variables and ultimately give you a probability of success of your money lasting for various periods at various spend rates. But that probability is subject to significant interpretation and revision as every year ticks past. In reality, even the best retirement planning gives you only a hazy view into an uncertain landscape to be traversed over many years, not a detailed itinerary for your journey. In my post on uncertainty in retirement calculations, I go through a set of scenarios for a typical couple showing that, depending on how future events unfold, the difference between best and worst case could be well more than $1 million. My conclusion? A retirement model is a compass, not a map. It can tell you where you're going, but not if and when you'll arrive. Those with a track record of prudent money management, plus middle school math skills, may be better off taking personal responsibility for their retirement decision and lifestyle. If you don't take on that responsibility, but instead hire somebody else to do it, you will pay dearly, and the results may not be to your liking. For true freedom and peace of mind in retirement, accept that the future is not perfectly knowable. You will need time, money, resources, and flexibility to deal with it, and nobody else can make your life decisions as well as you. In the end, there's no exact answer to the retirement question, but you can still make the decision to retire. As I conclude in my second book, reality will always be a series of tactical decisions based on new events, logic, and emotion. So ultimately with retirement, you have to make a big decision in the face of uncertainty. But that's not so bad. Anyone who's gone to college, gotten married, raised children, or pursued a career has already done that many times. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled The 3 Great Misconceptions About Retirement Saving by Darrow Kirkpatrick of CanIRetireYet.com. If you're a small business owner, this is for you. Running a business is just plain hard. Endless to-do lists, employees to take care of, and your ever-present bottom line. So first of all, kudos to you for staying on top of it. And I want to tell you about Gusto. Gusto built an easier and more affordable way to manage payroll, benefits, and more. They help over 100,000 businesses with tasks like automated payroll tax filing, simple direct deposits, free health insurance administration, 401ks, onboarding tools, you name it, Gusto made it easy. And they really care about the small business owners they work with. Their support team is attentive and helpful. Our podcast team here has been using Gusto for years. We have no plans to change. I remember being onboarded last year through Gusto, and it was a breeze. And since money can be tight right now, you'll even get 3 months free once you run your first payroll. Just go to gusto.com/OFD and start setting up your business today. You'll see what I mean when I say easy. Again, that's 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/OFD. One of the things I've come to learn about money is that it's only as valuable as your clarity on how you'll use it and your comfort level with how much is enough. But clarity and comfort can be challenging because life is fluid. We are constantly navigating obstacles and opportunities that change what we want and how much we need to fund our lives. That's one reason I'm attracted to the FIRE movement, which stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. People who resonate with FIRE are constantly discussing their numbers, evaluating the right asset allocation and drawdown strategies, and what factors contribute to refining their approach along the way. The general rule of thumb is that your investment portfolio should have 25 times your expected yearly expenses in order to retire. But especially when you retire early, your numbers are going to be based on a lot of assumptions, which can create some uncertainty. I think one thing that helps is to be really clear on how you spend money now and track that over the time you are accumulating your nest egg. For example, I know for the last 5 years since getting out of all consumer debt that I spend anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000 per year. I track every dollar I spend, and so I have a really good idea of how much it costs to fund a life I love right now. And this number is a starting point for me to build some assumptions on how much I'll need in retirement. And that's another episode and weekend of Optimal Finance Daily in the books. Have a happy and safe Halloween if you're listening in real time. Thank you for your support and for listening every day, including holidays. I'll be back with more posts for you on Monday. So have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.